you to have full control of your mineral resources. That is first policy that scares the imperialist power so much that they will start pushing up this type of propaganda that they push against Gaddafi, against Thomas Sankara, against Kwame Nkrumah. They use this rhetorics of human rights violation. Yet we have seen human rights violation happen to the people of Nigeria. The international community did not actually say a word. They refused to say a word because there is nothing there for them. The people violating human rights are the people who have their back. So they have to have their own back. Those people who were removed and killed for the sake of, using the rhetorics, they are violating the people of their country. Those people never violated anybody's right in their country in real life. It was all conspiracies. Mama Gaddafi, Arab Spring rose up against him. Conspiracy. Created a faction that will start fighting the government in order to give them a leeway to come in and destroy the stability of the country. The same thing they are doing with Traore today. They are now concerned that he's selling the gold belonging to his country. The gold belonging to his country. This gold does not belong to Africom, right? The gold does not belong to America. The gold does not belong to France. The gold does not belong to Britain. The gold belongs to the people of Burkina. And they never complain. But someone outside is complaining on their behalf. Do you know the real reason why? That they are complaining on behalf of the people of Burkina? Because I have not seen a Burkina, a citizen coming out in the media to complain about these things that the United States and then other international community or NATO countries are complaining about. We haven't seen such complaint from the horse's mouth. Why is it people who does not have business with these people's affair are complaining and crying about how he is making use of the resources that belongs to the land in order to, govern the country? When the people complain, we will know. But no one is complaining. But yet, the people of United States is complaining. The people of Britain is complaining. The people of France is complaining. Why is that? Are you going to live in Europe and live in Africa at the same time? That is exactly what is going on. They are complaining about this gold. And the only reason why they are complaining about this gold is one. Remember, France used to have the highest gold reserve because they were actually exploiting this gold from all these, Francophobia countries, which they colonized, and the imperial policies or colonial policies that is actually, placed on these people that they can never breathe. They will not have access to their resources, including their own reserve. They cannot have access. They will not be in charge of their reserve. So French was actually getting all these things almost for free. So ever since it is removed, because they know that, first of all, what is the reason why they are crying? It is not because of the gold. It is because they don't have access to it. And their enemy, not just their enemy, their competitor, Russia, their gold reserve has been growing. That is the reason why they want to actually unalive this guy. It is not because he did anything. Because Russia gold reserve has been growing, and because the gold reserve has been growing, they know that Russia can escape sanction. Russia could escape sanction. So that is exactly the reason why they have risen up against this guy, because they believe that Russia being rich in gold reserve is coming from this countries that are actually led by military, leaders. Now let me show you. Let me show you the the letters from Britain. The latest news coming out from Britain with regards to this gold, because this gold is the problem. It is not because they care about anybody of Burkina. They don't care. Just like you have seen human rights violation happen against the people of Biafra in Nigeria, no one talked about it. British, who is the colonial master, didn't talk about it. But today, they are worried that Burkina Faso's leader is selling his gold in order to pay for his security. They are worried about it. But we know exactly where this problem is coming from. China is growing in gold. Russia is growing in gold because number one thing is that the gold, the more they are growing, the more gold price is going up. For the first time, gold price went to 3,000 mark in dollar per refined ounce. 3,000. Let's actually hear the policies that was implemented by Britain before we talk about the real thing. It is always the worst part of all this shenanigans is that when they want to actually destabilize African country, they use an African man, just like the leader of the AFRICOM, the black man, who is the one who will be moving the agenda to bring an African man, down, forgetting that the same blood that flows in that African man's vein is the same one that flows in his vein. Just because he found himself in another man's land, he believes he's a white person now. That's what these people believe. Those type of people are the type of African people. It doesn't matter whether they are called African American. Those are black people living, those are white people living in black skin. So what we need to do when we see those type of picture, we turn them upside down. Like we used to turn Ekperim upside down. Because this guy, he is a person who is used to unalive and destabilize African countries. Remember, this same man was the same man who trained, who went to do training for all these military leaders in their countries. They trained the military of Burkina, Mali, and Niger. They trained those military. They said that were installing core value on them because now what they were trying to instill in them didn't work. They have actually taken a step from what they have learned in order to liberate their country through the core value, because the real core value that was instilled in this military was to take a step to liberate their people and get their territorial integrity. That's one of the things that is making that guy cry, because he instilled core value. According to him, he instilled core value on this military, and they made use of that core value. And the core value is to rise up to defend that which is rightfully yours. That's what happened. So, but let's get to the news. Which one is in front of me? Let's actually see the one in front of me, the news. Look at this. I don't know if you will be able to see, but I will read it for you. You can search it up in for public domain. They say corruption and Russia's illicit gold trade. Let's read. This is coming from Britain. This week, the UK government appointed Baroness Margaret Hodge as the country's new anti-corruption champion, announced significant new funding for the National Crime Agency's anti-corruption effort, and introduced additional sanctions targeting the illicit gold trade. In this press release, the government stated illicit gold is an assault on the legitimate trade of valuable commodities, fueling corruption, undermining the rule of law, and entrenching human rights abuses such as child labor. Russia uses illicit gold to launder money and evade sanction, thereby bolstering Putin's war effort. Look at these people. They are talking about child, what did they say? Child labor. Dude, go to Congo, DRC. You go to Congo, DRC. These guys are talking about child labor. We know what exactly is going on in DRC. Children mining, endangering their lives just to bring out these resources for people to pay them peanuts. Beaten. Nothing for them just to eat. And UK is talking about child labor. Let's continue. Recent research by Rand Europe, Gold Rush, how Russia is using gold in wartime, produced for Sanction and Directorate of the Foreign Commonwealth. And the Development Office found that gold has become vital resources for the Russia state since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Gold is now critical to Russia's most important wartime trading relationship. Did you see whom they are fighting? If they cannot fight, if they cannot stand to fight their enemy directly, they will now look for weaker, they will now look for weaker link in order to use to fight their enemy. UK is part of it. I told you that they've been part of it. It is not about Burkina because this gold was going to Europe. The gold belonging to Burkina was going to Europe and not accounted for. And there is no exchange of technology, there is no exchange of security, there is no exchange of nothing. The people of Burkina were not actually benefiting from this gold. When France was involved, or when France was in charge. But today, the gold is now being exchanged for value. For value. And they are crying because it is not being exchanged, for them. It is not working in favor of them. So they have to now come up with conspiracy that he's selling the gold belonging to his people in order to pay for his security. Is it your concern? Is it your problem? It's not. That is what we call territorial integrity. You learn how to respect people's territorial integrity. When we talk about where human rights violation is going on, you cannot see these people talk about it, but they are complaining on behalf of people of Burkina today that their gold is being sold. Have you seen what they are fighting? They are fighting Russia, but they have to now go through Burkina because they believe that the gold from Burkina is the one enriching gold reserve of the Russian. Because another thing you should understand is that we heard the current United States administration saying they are going to check whether or not they still have their gold reserve. All this conspiracy, all these things that is coming up, could it be they have checked and their gold reserve is not reserving anymore? Therefore, they have to now find a way to use this type of, tactics in order to stop their, opposition or their competitor, or will I say their, mm, their biggest enemy, to stop him from enriching his gold reserve. Why gold continue to skyrocket in prices? The gold price is going up. If you had gold last, 2 years ago, you have money. and you still kept it, you have money today. If you have gold that you kept since 2 years ago or even 5 years ago, you have more money. Gold price is going up $3,000, more than $3,000. It was 1,800, 1,600, 2,000 last 2 years. And we were actually thinking that it went up. Today, it is more than $3,000. So, because this gold is now so difficult for them to access it, they have to now, they will never live without a fight. They have to now look for the weaker link, which is they see Burkina as the weaker link, because Africa is a place where you go in, you take it for free, and you walk, no problem. But immediately when Africa rose up to say, no, you can no longer take it for free, we want it for value, you become a human rights violator. That has been how these people were able to remove Thomas Sankara, remove Mama Gaddafi, remove Kwame Nkrumah. It doesn't matter how these people were unalive, but we know the conspirators. And we know that history will always repeat itself. The one in 2011 happened before the eyes of everyone. They will use someone who look like you. The president emeritus of the United States, he looks like Mama Gaddafi. Does he not look like him? He looked like him. The man that is in front of this beginning of this video, the military leader of the AFRICOM, looks like Traore. Does it not look, they look alike? So they will always look for someone who look like you in order to justify their action. It's a black on black violent. That's what they will say. It is black on black violent. It is this monkey and Adaka killing each other. That's the rhetorics. It doesn't matter. They will always leave their black man's fingerprint in the scene of the crime against black man. Black man fingerprint in the scene of the crime against the black man, even though black man is not the perpetrator of this crime. That has been the way it has been going all these years. But we have mastered the strategy. Mastered the strategy. That is the reason why you see this man getting all these attacks on him. There is another article that I am going to read. After reading that, I will finalize this topic. We go to Nnamdi Kanu's. This one is Russia are going gold in global currency war. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it. Let's read. For you to understand the problem, the reason why I'm reading this thing is for you to understand the grassroots of the problem. It is not what you think. It is not what they say. It is a proxy war. Look at that. Russia are going gold in global currency wars. Ruble versus the fiat currency system. Rubles versus the fiat currency system. American currency is a fiat money. They print it anytime they want, anyhow they want. It's a fiat money. So any currency that is going to be backed up by resources such as gold is going to be a threat to the status quo. Now look at it. Not only Russia, BRIC bloc is thinking of using 40% of gold to back up BRIC currency. Are you aware of that? 40% of gold to back up BRIC currency. So it's a threat. And the Burkina can have more. There is a potential relationship between Burkina and the BRICS bloc. There is a potential relationship. Don't forget what happened recently. Proposal from the you know Arab nation, which propose that they want to go to build mosques, 200 mosques in Burkina, and the leader turned it down, says that instead of you building 200 mosques, our people need job. You can build companies.